Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about all the books that I read last week. So this is going to be a shorter video because I have 2 adult books and 7 middle grade to talk about. But a couple of the books I read this month were kind of for secret project, or this week were for secret projects. So let's just get into it. So I have a whole closet of surprises and little things and books that I'm collecting from little free libraries and things that are part of series that I can gift to my kids. And so I wanted to read a couple of those to see, because I always give them a book series for the Book of Nov, which is an Icelandic cozy Christmas tradition. I can talk more about it if you want, but leave in the comments if you want to know more about what we do for that. But so the first one was Riley May and the Rock Shocker Trek, and this is a Faith Girls series, the first in the Good News shoes, and this is about a girl named Riley May who has her dad's like in advertising or something, and so she gets the opportunity to have a whole shoe line designed for her. And so it becomes popular, etc. But she has to sacrifice, like she can't actually play softball or whatever because she is doing all this media stuff. And so that was great. And yet this book is not something I'm going to hand on to my kids yet, because it deals with eating disorders, food insecurity, a lot of heavier topics that I would say this is definitely late elementary, maybe even middle school topics. Late elementary, which my daughters are 7, 5, 3, and 1, so I don't think any of them are quite ready for this, but it was a good book with a lot of great faith content, just not something my kids are prepared to read yet. So then I picked up the Frankly Franny series, and I read this, and this was like a 3.5 star for me. And so I read actually the second one too, which I realized I don't have. And this is about a girl named Franny who really is in a rush to grow up. She really wants to work in an office. Like that's her goal, is to work in an office. And so she's cute, she's funny. I was looking for this for my 5-year-old. It's, more of a beginner chapter book, and it fits that bill. The thing that annoys me about her is she uses a lot of like fake words in order to sound more grown up, and those words, like I could see that confusing my 5-year-old, being like, wait, is that the real word, or is that a real word? I don't think she's quite discerning yet enough to know yet. And so I don't know if I'll pass this on to her. I probably won't, because now I know I have books 1, 3, 4, and 5, but not 2. So I'm going to keep my eye out for 2. Like I said, this is pretty cute, pretty wholesome. I would pass it on, but I'm not going to quite yet. Then together we read a ton of Christmas books. So we read Flat Stanley's Christmas Adventures, which I realized I actually have 2 of the copies, and I love this cover so much better, but it's in much worse shape. So which would you keep, blue or green? I guess put it down below in the comments which you would keep. I think I'm gonna keep this one, and maybe let my kids just do what they're gonna do with this. I don't know, but so this was cute. This was about Stanley. He is not flat anymore in this, so I have not read these in order, clearly, and he's not flat anymore, but they go to the North Pole to save Christmas, because Santa is saying he's not going to do it because people are not grateful, they're selfish, all that kind of stuff. And so I liked this. It's not like they call him Mrs. Christmas and Mr. Christmas instead of like Santa, and Santa has a daughter, which my kids are like, does he really have a daughter? And I don't think so, but if you can tell, again, I've got a child right here. So then we have Horrible Harry and the Christmas Surprise. Somebody just turned the lights off on me. Hold on just a second. Okay, so we read Horrible Harry and the Christmas Surprise. This one, so Horrible Harry, we have not read any, and this is number 5 in the series. It's an early chapter book, but this one, his teacher falls out of the chair and tears a ligament in her knee, and that's the Christmas surprise, I guess, and that they're going to have a different teacher, and they're trying to, like, they just missed their teacher. And we were like, wait, why is he called Horrible Harry? Because he was not horrible in this. He was a sweet boy. So this was like, it's a 28-minute audiobook. This is super short. I guess I'd recommend, but we need to read the series in order, I think. Then we read Ready Freddy, A Very, Very Crazy Christmas by Abby Klein. So this is about Freddy, and we have read Ready Freddy's here and there, and I feel like you can jump in and out of this series, but his 2 cousins come to stay with him for Christmas, and they're kind of ornery, and so they get into some hijinks, but it, as it does, it all works out in the end. Then last is Miss Holly is Too Jolly, and I think we have decided collectively we are done with the My Weird School books, because they're just as a parent, as a child reading this, I don't know what my thoughts would have been, but as a parent, it's like there's just too much brattiness and ugliness and name calling, and all of that does not need to be normalized in our house. And so even my kids are like, they're just too mean to each other. And so I think we're done with this series. This is about their teacher being too jolly, which, like, disrespectful. I don't know. I just didn't like this. So we're going to unhaul this. So now let's talk about the adult books. So you guys, I read this one from the library, Strong as a Girl by Kate Rope. And I read Strong as a Mama, or a mom, maybe mother, Strong as a Mother. And didn't love it, but I didn't remember why. And this one was the same. I didn't love it. So Your Guide to Raising Girls Who Know, Stand Up For, and Take Care of Themselves. And so I have 4 girls. I want this message. I want my girls to know themselves, stand up for themselves, take care of themselves. I want this. So I thought this would be like great. And it was. There were some parts that were really good, but other parts, Kate Rope, I do not believe is a Christian. And so there's a lot of very worldly things talked about in here. And while I agree, like I said, wholeheartedly with some of it, I think our beliefs don't align in a few other areas. And so there's a lot in this book that I was like, I don't agree, or this does not apply. And I'm interested because there's a lot of gender talk in here, about, just different manifestations of gender and sexuality and things. And I'm interested in, why did she name it Strong as a Girl? Like, why not just strong as a person? I don't know. But anyway, so I gave this maybe 2.5, 3 stars. It's like I said, some of it I really am like, yes, let's do this. And some of it I was like, this missed the mark for me. So there's that. And then you guys, this also, I was listening on Spotify and I fell asleep with it in my ear. You guys, if you are Spotify users, that this is like a cardinal sin, because then you only get 15 hours on Spotify a month. And so I got to like an hour left in this book and ran out of hours because I had to listen to it twice. So there's that. So don't do that. Note to self. But anyway, there's that. Then I read Marley and Me. And you guys, this is just so... I knew what I was in for. I think I've seen the movie. It's been years and years and years. But I knew what I was in for. And we do not currently have a pet because we have 4 small children. And I don't need another thing to feed and groom and all of that kind of stuff right now. So I thought, I can desensitize myself from this. I can detach. I can see, a dog's purpose. Because I had a dog that I got in college. And that dog saw me through 2 kids. And so that I was like, that's awful. That's that's so hurtful when they pass, because they've been with you through everything. And he was my first baby. He was my baby before I had babies. And so I was like thinking I could emotionally handle this, going in now knowing kids and all that kind of stuff. I was wrong. So this book is a nonfiction about John Grogan and his wife. They get this dog who is just unhinged. And I've always had labs growing up. And so we had yellow labs as a family when I was growing up. And then my dog was a chocolate lab. Anyway, but so labs especially can be a little unhinged. So this dog is very unhinged. There's hijinks of the dog throughout, but this is focused on the family, like focused on John and his wife as they add kids, as they go through miscarriage, as they go through a lot of hard times. And the dog is there. It's not like where the dog is a central focus necessarily, where you're like, clearly this is setting up for something. It is. The dog is mentioned, but it was a very realistic way of mentioning it as a dog owner. They're a part of your life, but there's times where you contemplate saying sayonara to this dog because life is just too crazy, and all of that goes on. And then when he ages in the end, again, you know what's coming, but it just is the innocence and the unconditional love of a dog that is just heartbreaking. Especially, like, I think about it, I have a 1-year-old right now, and she's kind of the same. Like, I get home, she's wagging her tail. Not literally, but she's just so excited and unconditionally loving. And that's how dogs are. They just want to serve you and make you happy. And it is just so sad. So yes, I was not emotionally prepared, but I thought I was. For the majority of the book, I was fine. So tread with caution. So there's that. So now what am I currently reading? I'm currently reading The Girl Who Came Home by Hazel Gaynor, and I'm not going to talk about my thoughts on this because you will see that in an upcoming video. And my kids and I are reading Karen's Wish, which is the first super special in the Babysitters Club Little Sisters, and we don't have it, which is surprising to me, but it's about Christmas. Their grandma, nanny, it's a whole thing. They're a mixed family. They have divorced parents, multiple houses, all that kind of stuff. Nanny is one of the grandparents that lives with them, and she gets hurt. And so Karen's wish is to make her better. We'll see how it goes. So that is everything that I read this week. Let me know, what have you read? You'll notice I have read none of my Christmas books, and it's December 7th. So here's to hoping that happens. But there's that. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.